Okay, I want to do an update of the differences between the FansToys Springer and the X-Transbots version of Springer. And I know on the previous video, I was basically sharing my thoughts on the X-Transbots Springer, how it looks more like the cartoon, and that the engineering design is still the same, but they can get away with it because they are using thicker plastic. I don't know if you like me as an example. I mean, you can kind of see before they would be like really thin and it's prone to breakage. I mean, it's all over the place. So the design, engineering design, is still not so good in my opinion, but it's holding up, because the plastics are thicker. So when you have to bend and twist plastic over plastic, you can get away with it because the plastic's thicker. And I gave the example, you just think of foam board. They have different thicknesses, like the 1/8 inch thickness, which is really thin, so it's prone to breakage. But if you get like a 1/4 inch or even a 1/2 inch thick foam board, it's much sturdier. So that's like the best I can explain with the X-Transbots. But the other thing I was pointing out in complimenting, because they did make a very good effort on the details. Like if you look at the cartoon version of Springer, and you just take note of all the details, and then you look at both of these by X-Transbots and FansToys, you'll see that they both were trying to focus on the details, but X-Transbots definitely did a much better job on the details. Like, since we're the feet, like tires should not be sticking out. So this is more like the cartoon. That dome shape should be a little bit more prominent, but FansToys is not. And FansToys has this yellow piece on it, on the back of his leg, which it should not. This is more like the cartoon. And then like all these details here, the forearms, the forearm. I mean, I can go on and on, even that little square. And I was pointing out one detail that's better on X-Transbots is you can see the top of that yellow shoulder should be like a kind of triangle shape, but it's not on FansToys. So there's no question that X-Transbot focused a lot on detail. That's why their figures tend to look good. Now, however, this is why I'm making this update, because the proportions, that's different. That's what I finally realized is off about this X-Transbots. I mean, you look at FansToys, he looks much bulkier, much more heroic, much stronger, and proportionately it looks much better. Now when you look at X-Transbot, he looks like he's been stretched out like Plastic Man, Now if I break it down into parts, like if you see here, that looks fine from the hips and legs. But when you look at the whole torso and the head, it looks a little too long, and you know, the shoulders should be a little bit wider, and I think the head is actually a little bit too small, you know, when that's why you would definitely have to broaden those shoulders. And then even, I mean the chest, and even the shoulders here, I think they're a little bit too small compared to FansToys. So, you know, that's just some flaws in the proportion. So that's why I'm doing this. And you know, I have a background in art and design, so I did a lot of figure drawing back in the day, and so, you know, trying to do all the details, all the anatomy details and stuff, but the proportions was always hard to work out, and that's what I see as the problem with the X-Transbots. So it's still a difficult call to make here, which one is better. You know, X-Transbots details looks more like the cartoon, but FansToys did do a good job trying to put in all the same details, but the proportions are better on FansToys, and the engineering design is much better on FansToys. So now let's go. Like I said, X-Transbot still doing the same thing. I already pointed out these feet. I mean, this is not a good, well-designed foot. So you could see, look at that. Look at that. That foot is being held by, you know, that one little bar. And of course, if it was thinner, it would be prone to breakage. But you see, they're getting away with it because they thickened up the plastic all over the place. And you know, even there, that little swivel, that's just not good design. And just to let you know, down there, that's not, you know, anything with the foot. That's just some of the helicopter wheels. And so the way they try to stabilize it is with this back piece that I pointed out. See? And that's not very secure either, because this is so flimsy. You can see how it rotates, and look at that. I mean, you can't even tighten it. So, I mean, that's just the foot. There are a lot of other places where it's the same issue with X-Transbot. Their engineering design is not very good, but they're getting away with it on this figure because the plastic is thicker. Now, here's the update I wanted to point out. This is not good. Let's see if I could do it with one hand. This ab crunch, I really don't recommend doing this ab crunch, because if you can see, that's going to be prone to breakage right there. And they're kind of getting away with it, like I said, because they thickened up that plastic just a little bit all over the place. But that's not very good. And so, you know, that's just another, I mean, it's all over the place on this figure. But it's holding up because the plastic is thicker. But the main issue is the engineering design. That's where the issue is. It's not very well designed, but it looks good. So now I can try to make my comparison again. The X-Transbot has details that look much more like the cartoon than FansToys, but the engineering design is still not good from X-Transbot, but FansToys is. And FansToys proportions, look at that, it looks much better than X-Transbot. I mean, there's a lot I can't cover, but you know, like FansToys, look at the forearm right there, should not be yellow, it should be green. And this is a little disappointing with X-Transbot. They did not cover that hinge dark green, because now it looks like he has a longer bicep. And there is something that's off. This shoulder is not cartoon accurate. This whole piece should not be yellow. Just the front part should be yellow. And then the rest of it should be this green color. And so both of them did that. So there's some imperfections with X-Transbot. Let me see if there's anything else. I can go on and on, but this is not a comparison video. I just wanted to share some of my thoughts of what I noticed after, you know, looking over these a little more carefully. But yeah, that's it.